Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. This is where we nurture, inspire, ignite, empower, educate, and uplift quiet achiever introverts like you, business owners and leaders who are making waves quietly and with impact. And this episode, I will be focusing on sharing with you the first pillar of the Quiet Impact Method, all around owning your power. So tune into this message and you'll be able to hear 3 simple tips that will help you step into a place where you can move from thinking that being an introvert means that you're invisible. Let's jump in, shall we? We shall. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Have you ever desired to have a mentor whisper success secrets into your ear? One with firsthand experience as a 6-figure corporate leader, expertise in entrepreneurship, and is an introvert? Tune into each episode where we will provide valuable insights into how introverts can effectively navigate life with full-time jobs, pursue career success, and delve into entrepreneurship. We will explore various business and career topics related to self-discovery, achieving success, and finding joy in the journey. My guest and I share real-life experiences, strategies, tools, and resources that will encourage personal and professional growth, self-empowerment, and living an authentic, purposeful life. Let's get into today's episode. We're not shy, timid, or needing to be fixed. We are an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AFF. Absolutely fabulous and feisty. And in this episode, I'll be digging into an area that, as I explored it for myself, it really helped me to catapult my career because I showed up different. And it's all around the first pillar of the Quiet Impact Method, owning your power. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can stand in that, some actions you can take, and some key takeaways that will help you come up with some powerful statements that if you find yourself shrinking back a little small, they just might help you to jump into the space that you were meant to be in. I need to share something with you in full transparency, and that there was a time when I chose to be invisible, not because I didn't have value, but because I thought that by shrinking that I would be safer. But being silent actually has a cost related to it. And when you self-erase, it doesn't really protect you. It erases the impact that you were going to make. And so here's what I had to realize. Maybe you do too. If I choose to dim my light, I can't be upset if no one sees it. Okay? I can't. If I choose to stay hidden, I can't expect to be recognized. And if I don't show up, I'm getting exactly what I asked for. And it's not about being louder. It's about being present and being present in your truth, being present in your brilliance, being present in your purpose. Even as you're evolving and you're really wanting to figure out what your purpose is, the thing is, be present. Like, you don't have to perform. You don't have to be what you're not, but you do have to show up. You do have to show up. I want to share with you some things on based on the Quiet Impact Method framework, and 3 things on owning your power.
The first one is quiet power is about being rooted in your presence. And it's not about performing in an extroverted way. And something I didn't know, but it has proven to be true, is people are repelled. Like, they don't know why they're repelled but they know, they sense that you're not being totally you. It's not trying to dominate conversations. It's focusing on the engagement in that moment. And when you speak intently and when you respond thoughtfully and with deep um, thoughts expressed. Now, I'm not saying go in, bare your soul and tell them, like you're sitting on a therapist couch. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, when you show up and you listen to people and you really lean into what they're saying, people can hear what you don't say. Have you ever had a situation where people just come to you, they tell you their whole story, and you not asked them, you just said hello, how are you? And they tell you their whole story. Well, because of the natural essence of who you are, it's giving off that vibe that you are a safe place. Your thoughtful contributions carry so much weight. And so that's one of the things that you can look at. An action step that you can take forward is practice being fully present in one conversation without planning what to say next, without speaking, just being present and acknowledging and letting the person know that you hear them. One of the things that a lot of people want is to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to be felt. Like, I know this, and we know this, but sometimes we forget. It gets noisy. It gets busy, and we forget. First, presence over performance. So that's one of the simple, powerful ways for you to start to own your power. If you think about the queen, she just sits there and she listens, but she's still the queen. She still has the power and that presence. And so you can practice that action step. The second one is, even though you may not feel like it, maybe you've been muffled, maybe you hadn't had a chance to speak out, there's depth as authority. Our natural tendency to process deeply before we speak, it's not hesitation. It's how we are genuinely authentic. It's how we express our authority. While other people may offer quick quips, right? Real quick responses. That's just not us. We offer more considered insights. And this kind of depth, when you really lean into it, it's a type of leadership. It's a different type of leadership that doesn't command to be the loudest, but it's almost once you get good at it, it's almost people leaning in to say, oh, let's see what Stephanie says. And I've seen that experience in my life. And they're like, okay, well, all that's good. Let's see what Stephanie says. Because I often would be quiet until I had something that was well crafted, well thought out, carefully chosen words that show that authority without being reactive, but being more responsive, like taking in all the information and being responsive. There's some benefits to choosing to hide, and one of those is I've gotten really good at reading rooms. I've gotten really good at reading energy, because it takes getting good at it to stay invisible. Okay, but the goal is not to stay invisible. But yeah, I can take the skill that I have honed all these years to be able to measure the energy in the room. Now, that allows me to be able to more quickly express thoughts or decide, is it worth me showing up? Because sometimes it's not worth me adding input to the conversation, but I have wisdom. I'm not at the place anymore, and I want you all to get there on your journey. I'm not at the place that I don't say something because I'm wanting to dim my power. It's at the point of, I've done all the analysis in my head, and is it worth the fight? And I don't go in to win every battle. The action step that you can take from this second tip that I'm giving you is that you can When you're asked for an opinion on something, you can pause before answering and then answer. And I want you to practice that. And it's not, don't give a lot of weight to really their response to you, because we're not really caring about their response. We're talking about us. And we're working on that space and how it feels to sit in that space and give that opinion. And you know what? People will have their opinion of you either way. But what matters is what you hold on to. Just because of someone thinks a certain way about you, that doesn't mean you have to, it comes in, that doesn't mean you have to let it get into your core. But again, that's a lot of deep work that we do, and we do more of that when I do one-on-one sessions. We really dig in. And the third tip, so we talked about presence over performance, and we've talked about depth as authority. And the third one is selected visibility. Okay. I know I told you be visible and don't hide it and be present. And now I'm telling you a strategy, a tip that you can use is to recognize your impact doesn't need to be seen everywhere, but be seen where it matters, right? And so as you're expanding that zone where you're more comfortable, I want you to continue to work on, okay, how can I do this? And you can practice with this with social media. So instead of diluting your efforts, one of the questions I asked as part of this journey is, what platforms do you detest? What platforms are you most comfortable on? So you can choose selective visibility on the platforms instead of being out there. Now, social media isn't your thing and you're more on your leadership journey. You can choose selective visibility in certain meetings that you're in. Like, you can direct that. And show up intentionally. Show up in that space intentionally. If LinkedIn is your place, show up in LinkedIn. Some ways that you can do that: you can post, you can share insightful posts. Whenever you post something somebody else says, what you can do is put your comments. I suggest you do that. What this will allow you to do is have a more concentrated presence. The other thing you can do is like showing up on Facebook. I share some things like connect, engage, be present. And that's not saying be on 20. You want to have selected visibility. So choose one platform. That's what I want you to do for this month. For the rest of this month, choose one main platform and be present on that platform and show up intentionally. And that will allow you to build a muscle that will allow you to get more comfortable. And this is not a sprint. Your action step for sure for this is to identify one channel that you feel is more aligned with your strengths and start showing up there consistently, even if it means you're less visible on another platform. Okay. I'm not as visible on TikTok. I just throw up a video when I feel like it and done. That is not one of my strategies. I am visible on LinkedIn. I am visible on Facebook. And I have my YouTube presence with my podcasts. And I have another YouTube channel that I focus more on affiliate marketing strategies. But I don't try to do it. I'm not on X. I don't even know what X is trending these days. I'm not on Threads. Yes, I know you can repurpose content, but to me, let's start with visibility in some basic areas. Our quiet nature isn't something we overcome. It's the very foundation of our unique impact. It is quiet power is present. It's not being passive. It's not about staying silent. It's about speaking up with calm authority. And one of the other trainings I have is to give you some real words that you can say, right? Because some of you have asked for that. Like, what can I really say? Because I put myself in a corner. I'm not sure if I want to say anything. What can I really say? First of all, remind yourself that your presence speaks. Like when you sit, your presence speaks. When you don't shrink, your presence speaks. When you can sit in a room and hold your space and it speaks. Quiet power is also discernment over being loud. Okay? You don't have to say everything. You don't have to think it, say it, think it, say it. You don't have to do that. You can listen deeply. You can think intentionally. And you can speak with clarity. Because we already know that you have very intentional, deep thoughts that are related to the things that matter, because that is who you are. That's the super genius in you. And then quiet power it's an inner anchoring, right? It's an inner anchoring. It's not an outer approval. It's an inner anchoring. You lead from your alignment with being who you are, not performing. And we don't need the external noise to validate our impact. Our strength is rooted. And I say that in creating a space so we can hold that. I know it may not be something that you necessarily feel strongly right now. And you're testing the waters. Can I really do that? And so that is something that I want you to keep thinking. You don't need external noise to validate your impact. Quiet power is presence, not passivity. Quiet power is discernment over loud, clinging, decibel noise. Quiet power is inner anchoring. Those are the things that I wanted to share with you along the lines of owning your power. 3 simple ways to redefine your quiet power. 3 tips that you can take in terms of action steps. You only take one action step, you take one action step. That's what I wanted to share with you. And I hope that it has you thinking and you're reflective and you're thoughtful. I'm hoping that it hits you at that place of growth. And I look forward to your thoughts and your comments on what I shared in this broadcast.
That's it for this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know any insights that you had from this episode. I would love to hear your takeaways. Remember to head to my website, grab a copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created for you. And join us next week. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. See you next time.